one of the things that's essential for you to be able to have success, for you to be able to take your life to where you want it, your relationship, your finances, every single aspect of your life, your health, your spirituality, one of the things that's required for you to be able to take things to an entirely different level, the first thing I need you to understand is you have to have a belief that tomorrow will be better than today. I believe that it's difficult, very difficult, and almost impossible for you to be able to accomplish the level of success that you want to accomplish if you don't buy into these two beliefs. These two beliefs are absolutely necessary. And so what I'm hoping is, once I go ahead and share these two beliefs with you, that it's either going to be an affirmation, confirmation for what you already believe to be true for yourself, or maybe perhaps this is going to create a transformation for you, because now you're about to create a shift, a change in your life, and start changing your belief system. And when you change your belief system, you begin to change your actions. And when you change your actions, you begin to change your results. And when you change your results, great things begin to happen in your life. You know, a lot of times we're out here pursuing success, and a lot of times we want to make it complex. We believe that our success lies on the other side of complexity. But the reality of it is, oftentimes, success is so much more simpler than what you really believe. And so whatever success may mean for you, and I understand that your definition of success and my definition of success may be entirely different. And if we were to go ahead and ask everybody to share what their definition of success is, there's a possibility that we would get a different response from everyone. However, regardless of what your definition of success is, I believe wholeheartedly that there are two beliefs that you've got to buy into in order for you to have the level of success that you want in your life, the level of success that you want in your relationships, the level of success that you want in your business. And so if you're a note taker, and my friend Trevor Ott says this all the time, that note takers are money makers. I'm gonna say that again. Note takers are money makers. And so I hope that you got a pen, you got a pad, and you're ready to take some notes. And so here's the first thing that I want you to understand. Here's one of the first beliefs that I believe that all successful people have in common. And I believe it's a belief system that you have to buy into to be able to have the level of success that you want. The first thing, and I want you to write this down, the first belief that they have is that tomorrow will be better than today. I'm going to repeat that one more time. One of the things that's essential for you to be able to have success, for you to be able to take your life to where you want it, your relationship, your finances, every single aspect of your life, your health, your spirituality, one of the things that's required for you to be able to take things to an entirely different level, the first thing I need you to understand is you have to have a belief that tomorrow will be better than today. You have to have the belief that tomorrow will be better than today. As a matter of fact, you need to believe that the future is going to be better than the present. There needs to be a deep down belief in you that tomorrow is going to be better than today. And there needs to be a deep down belief in you that your future is going to be better than the present. And so the reason why that is so very important is because here's what I want you to understand, that hope in the future, a belief that tomorrow is going to be better, a belief that you're going to take your business to the next level, the belief that you're going to be able to find a fulfilling and happy relationship, the belief that you are going to get better health-wise, the belief that you're going to get smarter, wiser, better, and you're going to age like fine wine. That is essential to be able to empower you today. In other words, hope in the future gives you power in the present. I'm going to say that one more time. One of my mentors a long time ago said this, and I thought it was so profound. And this is what he said. He said that hope in the future gives you power in the present. And so one of the firm beliefs that I believe that all successful people have is that they firmly believe that wherever they are right now, whatever their circumstances are right now, whatever today looks like for them right now, they believe that tomorrow is going to be better. And so if they had a bad day, they believe that tomorrow is going to be better. If they had a wonderful day, they believe that tomorrow is going to be even better. And if tomorrow comes and it's not quite what they thought it was going to be, they're looking forward to the next day because they know and they have a belief that tomorrow is going to be better than the day. And they have a belief that the future is going to be better than the present. I'm telling you, it's essential. And so what I want you to understand is the reason why it's so powerful is because when you have that type of a belief system, when you believe that tomorrow is going to be better than today, when you believe that your future is going to be better than the present, what it does is it empowers you right now, where you are right now. And so the reason why you can put your head down and keep working your business so that you can take your business to the next level is because you're operating from a place that you believe that your business is going to grow. You believe that things are going to get better. The reason why you can put your head down and work hard on your marriage and work hard on your relationships is because you believe that they will get better. You believe that they can go to the next level. The reason that you work hard right now and you start changing your health regimen right now, and you start changing the way that you're eating and your exercise regimen is because you're operating from a belief system that tomorrow is going to be better. And so I need you to understand the one thing that all successful people have in common is they have a belief that listen what they believe, that hope in the future will give them power in the present. And so they believe that the future will be better than the present. And they believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And so I've gotten to see sort of firsthand how that really shows up in your life. And so I need you to understand this. You know, my mom is an immigrant. My mom came to the United States literally from the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. My mom came here originally to the United States from Haiti. And see, my mom literally left Haiti and came to the United States with $150 to her name. I need you to understand this. My mom left one country, came to another country where she didn't really have any true contacts, where she didn't have any opportunities set up for her, where she didn't know where she was going to work. She didn't know exactly how things were going to work out. She didn't have a job that was waiting for her. She showed up to a country where she didn't even speak the language with less than $150. Literally, all she had was about $150 to her name, and she came here to this country. Now, what is it that gets somebody to leave where they're at and to leave their country and to come to an entirely different country and to literally come to a country where they don't speak the language, where there's no guarantees, and where they come with literally less than $150 to their name? I need you to understand this. The only thing that drives somebody to do that is because they have a strong belief system that what lies ahead of them is going to be greater than what they're leaving behind. In other words, they believe that tomorrow is going to be better than their current day. They believe that the future is going to be better than the present. And so what I need you to understand is this is not just true when it comes to my mom. I want you to understand something because I believe that we can learn a lesson here. Here's what I want you to understand very carefully. That it has been shown, statistically speaking, that when immigrants come to this country, on average, they will earn more than natives, people who are born in the United States. I'm going to say that again. There have literally been studies done, and statistically speaking, when immigrants come to this country, statistically speaking, they will earn more than those who are born here in this country. You say, well, wait a second, that doesn't make much sense. How does an immigrant come to this country who doesn't speak the language, that doesn't understand the cultures and the customs, that is leaving behind their comfort zone and coming completely outside their comfort zone? How do they come here and outperform in many instances those who are born here? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there is a lesson for all of us to learn, regardless if we're immigrants or not. And the lesson is they come here with an expectation that their tomorrow is going to be better than their today. They come with an expectation that the future is going to be better than the present. And so that's what I need you to understand. And that's what I need you to really just operate from that belief system. Because when you operate from that belief system that your tomorrow is going to be better than today, that your future is going to be better than the present, that what lies before you is far greater than what lies behind you, that the rest of your life is going to be the best of your life. When you operate from that place, all of a sudden you show up differently with what you're doing right now, because you're operating from a place of higher expectations. You're operating from a place in which you know that things are about to shift and things are about to change for you. I need you to understand is the amazing thing that successful people have in common is that they have a firm, deep down belief that the future, listen carefully, that the future is going to be better than the present. They have a firm belief that the future is got better and bigger things for them. They have a firm belief that the future is going to lead to more income, that the future is going to lead to better health, that the future is going to lead to better relationships, that the future is going to lead to greater happiness, that the future is going to lead to greater contentment. And because they have that belief, it changes the way that they show up in the present. Understand this. I need you to get this. This is so simple, but it is yet so profound. That understand this, that the deep down belief is I need you to understand this. The deep down belief is that the future will be better than the present. And so when you operate from that place, things begin to change. When you operate from that place, you begin to rise and raise your expectations. And so let me tell you the reason why it's so important that you raise your expectations in life. Let me tell you why it's so important for you to understand. Because of this. When you have a deep down belief that the future is going to be even better than the present, what happens means that you have a positive outlook of what tomorrow is going to look like. In other words, when you look at tomorrow, you have high expectations for tomorrow. And the reason why it's so important that you have high expectations and that you raise your level of expectations is this, and I want you to write this down. Nobody rises to low expectations. Ooh, write that down. Nobody rises to low expectations. The first time that I heard that, it blew me away. I heard somebody who was a mentor of mine, and we were sitting down and we were having a little private session, and he was having the conversation, and I heard him say, the reason why it's so important that you got to raise your expectations is because nobody rises to low expectations. And so if you want to rise in your life, like you're looking to rise in your finances, you're looking to rise in your relationships, you want to rise in your health, you want to rise in whatever aspect in your life, understand this, that the only reason why you're going to rise is because you have risen your expectations. And so the thing is, some people are trying to figure out why they're remaining stagnant in life. Or in other words, the reason why they're trying to figure out why life is declining. In other words, they're going in the opposite direction in which they want to go. And I would tell you right now, oftentimes the reason why is because they have failed to raise their expectations. And at some point, you got to be willing to raise your expectations. Why? Because nobody rises to low expectations. The reason why you need to raise your expectations is because nobody rises to low expectations. I want to share something with you that really helps me really drive home this point. There is a book. It is known as The Other Westmore. You can go ahead. I suggest that maybe perhaps you buy a copy of the book, or that you at least understand the premise of the book. And so the title of the book is called The Other Westmore. And so the book, the whole premise around the book is that you have two young men who basically were born around the same time, who basically grew up a couple of blocks from each other, and both of them happened to have the same name. One of them's name was Westmore, and the other one's name was Westmore. And literally, they just lived just a couple of blocks from each other. They were born around the same time as one another, literally, and they grew up in about the same neighborhood as one another. This is what I need you to get. Very, very powerful here. However, even though they were born around the same time, even though they were born in the same type of neighborhood, they had two very completely different outcomes. One of those gentlemen literally went on to become a Rhodes Scholar. One of them went on to the military. One of them eventually would go ahead and hold a position as part of the committee at the White House. The other one is serving a lifetime prison sentence. Listen carefully. You got two people who grew up in the same neighborhood, who basically were born around the same time, who lived just a couple blocks from each other, that had the same name. One of them went on to be a Rhodes Scholar, go into the military, hold leadership positions, become a best-selling author, become a speaker, go to the White House, and the other one is serving a lifetime sentence in prison. And so what happened is the book, The Other Westmore, is basically sharing what's taking place in both of their lives. And so here's what happened. The Westmore that had a great deal of success in life decided to go ahead and pay a visit to the other Westmore who is serving a lifetime prison sentence. And while he went to go visit the other Westmore, he went ahead and had a conversation. And in the midst of that conversation, he had literally a very profound question. And here's the question that he asked the other Westmore. So the successful Westmore, the one that's a speaker, an author, the one that was a Rhodes Scholar, the one that served in the military, he asked the other Westmore, who is serving a lifetime prison sentence. Here's the question that he asked him. This is where the learning lesson is for all of us. He said to him this is what he said. He said, do you believe that we are a product of our environments? Do you believe that we are a product of our environments? That's the question that he asked. He said, do you believe? Because you and I were born around the same time. We grew up in the same neighborhood, right? We had two very different outcomes in our lives. You're serving a lifetime prison sentence, and I've accomplished some extraordinary things. And so I want to share this story about how our lives have gone two different paths. And so the profound question, because this has been an argument for a very long time, and people have shared this over and over again. And he said, so this is the question that I have. He said, do you believe that we are a product of our environment? And he said that the Westmore, who is serving the lifetime prison sentence, said something very profound. And here's what he said. He said, I don't believe that we're a product of our environment. He said, I believe that we are a product of our expectations. Ooh, woo! I don't know if you just caught that. I don't know if you understand how significant that statement is, but here's what he said. He said, I don't believe that we are a product of our environment. He said that I believe we are the product of our expectations. And so here's what I want you to understand, that in many ways in life, your expectations are literally a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so you will rise to the level of your expectations. And so what happens is, if you want to be able to take your life to the next level, if you want more out of life, if you want more out of business, if you want more out of your relationships, if you want more out of your finances, if you want more out of everything that is going on in your life, understand this, then what it means is that you need to raise your expectations. That's what it boils down to. You need to raise your expectations. You have to operate from the belief system that there is more for your marriage. You got to operate from the belief system that there's more in your business. You got to operate from the belief system that things are going to happen. Because understand this, you are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your expectations. And if you don't like what is going on in your life, then raise the expectations. Because when you raise your expectations, you begin to show up differently. When you show up differently, you begin to take different actions. When you take different actions, you begin to produce different results. When you produce different results, you begin to change your life. And so that is the power. That is the power. And so what we got to learn to do is stop trying to make things complex. And so it really boils down to, what are you expecting out of your life? What are you expecting right now? What are you expecting out of the rest of this year? What are you expecting over the next 5 years? What are you expecting in the next 10 years? What are you expecting in your marriage? What are you expecting in your finances? What are you expecting in your health? What are you expecting in your personal walk of faith? What are you expecting? Listen, nobody rises to low expectations. Understand that. Nobody rises to low expectations. And so you've got to learn to raise your expectations in life. If you want a more fulfilling life, if you want greater things to happen, you got to raise the expectations. They are operating from a place of low expectations, and they're trying to figure out why every single year they're not producing the results that they want. They're trying to figure out why they're not having the level of satisfaction that they want from their relationships. They're trying to figure out why they can't necessarily get into the level of health that they want. They're trying to figure out why their finances aren't where they want to be. They're trying to figure out, and what they fail to understand is that they are getting everything that they want in life because their life is a reflection of their expectations. Ooh, woo, listen now. Their life is a result of their expectations. And so what they're doing is they're wishing that things are going to change. They're wishing that things are going to change in their finances. They're wishing that things are going to change in their relationships. When what they need to do is go from wishing to now just simply raising the expectations. And so I need you to get this. I need you to understand this, because this is where it happens. The first major belief that successful people have is that tomorrow will be better than today. That, listen carefully, that the future will be better than the present. And the reason why they operate from that place is because they have a high level of expectation for what life has in store for them. And so when you want to take your life to the next level, you need to simply learn to raise your expectations. And the reason why it's so important is because nobody, listen carefully, nobody rises to low expectations. You are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your expectations. That's what we want to do. We want to go ahead and be able to see and project and raise our expectations so that we can get to the next level. Someone put hashtag next level, hashtag next level, because this is the time right now, not tomorrow, to start raising your expectations. This is the time right now to get seriously serious about having a different forecast of what tomorrow is going to be. And so if you want to raise your energy level, stop focusing on what's taking place right now. Stop focusing on what your relationship looks like right now. Stop just focusing on what your bank account looks like right now. Stop just focusing on what your business looks like right now, but raise your expectations and start operating from a place expecting that tomorrow is going to be better. Why? Because nobody rises to low expectations. Now, here's the second belief that I believe that all really, really successful people all hold true. Here's the second belief that they all hold true. Here's what they understand: that they have power over their circumstances, and that their circumstances do not have power over them. The second major belief that all successful people have in common. And so whatever your definition of success may be, the second major belief that all successful people have in common is that they have power over their circumstances, and that their circumstances do not have power over them. Very, very important for you to understand. There's a lot of people right now who are stuck, and the reason why they're stuck is because they're operating with a victim mentality. And so what they believe is that they are a victim of their environment, and they believe that they're a victim of their circumstances. And so they believe that the reason why their life looks the way that it looks is because of what somebody did to them, because of their boss, because of the system, because of who's in the White House, because of what legislation got passed. And so their belief system is that their life is a reflection of the circumstances. But what I want you to understand is that the shift that happens in the minds of people that are successful is that they understand wholeheartedly, and they believe wholeheartedly, that they are not a product of their circumstances, but rather that they have complete control and the ability to be able to change the circumstances. In other words, do you understand that there's a significant difference between literally when you are walking into your house and you decide to go ahead and turn on the AC? There's a difference between the actual thing that just simply just shows you what the temperature is in the room, and the actual switch that you throw on that actually can change what the temperature is in the room. You see, there's a lot of people who believe that when they walk into the room, whatever the temperature is in the room, that the temperature is set and there's nothing that they can do about it. They believe that their job is set and there's nothing they can do about it. They believe that the circumstances are set and there's nothing they can do about it. But then there's another person who operates from a place of success that believes that when I walk into a room, regardless of what the temperature is, I have the ability to be able to change the temperature in the room. I have the ability at any point to hit a switch and I can change what things will look like. And that is a thing that is common for successful people. Let me tell you, successful people understand this, that you have the ability to change your circumstances, and that your circumstances do not dictate what is taking place in your life. And I'm gonna share something with you. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I want you to get this. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. You see, I left corporate America back in 2004. And upon me leaving corporate America, I made a decision to invest in some real estate that was in Costa Rica. And I literally took all of my savings and I made this investment in Costa Rica. And unfortunately for me, the investment went completely south. I lost all of my money. And let me try to explain to you what my circumstances were at that moment. The moment I got the phone call, or I made the phone call and discovered that I lost the money, here's what the circumstances were. The circumstances were I walked away from my corporate job. And so at that point, I was unemployed, and I left my job thinking that I was going to go out there and start becoming a successful entrepreneur. And clearly things didn't quite work out the way that I thought that they would. The second thing is I had all of my savings. That really was part of the reason why I had enough confidence to leave corporate America, was because I saved up a significant amount of money that gave me some breathing space. I lost all of my savings. So now I want you to get this. Here's what the circumstances are. I've got no job. I've got no savings. And now I find myself in a situation that mentally I'm distraught, and mentally I'm feeling down because I realize I've made a bonehead decision and I'm beating myself up. And let me tell you something, the more that I focused on the circumstances, the more that I played the victim role, the more that I was blaming it on the person that I decided to invest with, the more that I was blaming on the fact that that person violated my trust, the more that I focused on the fact that I didn't have a job, that I didn't have any money in the savings, the worse that I began to feel and the more stuck that I literally became. And so what I need you to understand is that the difference for those who are able to have success is not the fact that they don't ever find themselves in circumstances that are difficult. It's not the fact that they will never find themselves in a situation where they've lost a job, where somebody has broken their heart, where they had their business fail, where they had an opportunity, a missed opportunity, where they lost a significant amount of money in an investment, where they got a bad diagnosis from the doctor, or they found themselves in a situation where things just completely went south. Listen, the major distinction about those who are able to have success is not that those circumstances don't happen to them. The major distinction is this, is that they have a belief that regardless of what the circumstances are, that they have control and the ability to be able to change and create a shift in their circumstances. In other words, they are not literally victims, but they have the ability at any moment. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Listen, let me tell you right now, Andy Enriquez is not telling you that it's easy. I would be lying to you if I told you it was easy. I'd be lying to you. I'd tell you it was easy to get up every day and work your business, even when you're not necessarily having and producing the results that you want. I would tell you, I'd be lying to you if I tell you it was easy to get up and keep a smile on your face and work hard on your marriage or work hard on your relationship when it seems that you're drifting apart and you're not quite seeing the things that you want. I would tell you, I would be lying to you if I told you that it was easy to hold on to the dream and the vision when you get up every day and the things that you're doing is not in alignment with what you think you've been called to do. I would be lying to you if I told you that it was easy to stick to it and to continue to push forward when you've been at it for years and months and you're not quite seeing the results. I would be lying to you if I told you that it was easy to live out your purpose and your dream. I'd be lying to you. And so nobody said it was easy. But one of the things that I'll tell you is this, is that regardless of what your circumstances are at this moment, I believe that this is a belief among all those who are able to have success, and whatever that success may be, is that in order for you to change the circumstances, you have to have a belief within yourself that it is possible for you to change your circumstances, that it is possible for you to be able to create a shift, that you don't need to wait on a government bailout. You don't need to be able to wait for a change in who's president and who's not president, that you don't need to wait to find out who's going to be your boss. You don't need to wait to see what's going on in the stock market. You don't need to wait to see if anybody's going to give you a handout or help you out. You don't need to wait for somebody else to say yes to your goals and your dream. You don't need to wait for anybody else to go ahead and give you permission to do those things. But you simply have a belief that you can be the one to change your circumstances, that you have a belief that you will be the one to change things around. The first belief system that I believe that all successful people have in common is that they believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And so no matter if today was a difficult day or if today was a phenomenal day, successful people believe that tomorrow will be better than today. They believe this, that the future is going to be better than the present. They believe, carefully listen, that the future is going to be better than the present. And that belief empowers them with where they are right now. And the second thing that I believe that all successful people have in common is that they believe that regardless of what the circumstances are, that they have the ability to change the circumstances, that at any moment they can use willpower, that they can use grit, that they can use determination to be able to change their circumstances. They believe in what Charles Swindoll said when he said this. He said that life is only 10% what happens to you. The other 90% is how you respond. Because guess what? What happens to you happens to us all. All of us have to deal with disappointments. All of us have to deal with rejection. All of us have to deal with challenges. All of us have to deal with obstacles. The real defining thing between those who make it and those who don't is how you respond. How will you show up? How will you respond in the midst of the circumstances, in the midst of all the difficulty, in the midst of all the challenges? What will you do to change the circumstances? What will you do to change tomorrow? That's the question. And so I'm believing and I'm hoping for you that the rest of your life is going to be the best of your life, that the rest of this year is going to be the best of this year, that your better days are before you and not behind you. But I understand that the only reason why you're going to do that is you got to be willing to buy into 100% the belief that your future is going to be better than the present. And you've got to believe wholeheartedly 100% that regardless of what your circumstances are, that you have the belief and you believe and you have complete control to change those circumstances. Let me tell you right now, I'll tell you this and I'll tell you this over again. I believe wholeheartedly that if you want to create a major shift and a change in your life, that one of the first places that you got to start right now, this moment, is you simply got to start getting serious about raising your expectations. And once again, the only reason why I say that is because nobody, and that includes you, that includes me, nobody rises to low expectations.
Those of you who've been holding on to this job, because although you know you're not fully satisfied, although you know you're not fully content with the job, but just because it makes you feel safe, it makes you feel secure, you can count on receiving a paycheck every 2 weeks. You have a pretty good knowledge base and you can perform your job fairly easy. As a matter of fact, you're able to cut quite a few corners at the job because you know exactly what you're doing. So during the course of the day, you tend to sort of slip away, go on social media, sort of hang out and make some things happen. I'm talking to those of you who've been trying to play it safe. In other words, you're surrounding yourself with people who do not intimidate you. You're surrounding yourself with people who are either at your level or below. You're surrounding yourself with people who do not challenge you, who do not ask you to elevate and step up your game. I'm speaking to those of you who've been trying to play it safe and you have avoided taking any significant risks. You've been thinking about starting the job. You've been thinking about getting a master's degree. You've been thinking about doing something different and pursuing something different, but you've pushed away and you've held back from doing it because that thing that you so desire is outside of your comfort zone. That thing that you so desire would put you in a position where you're no longer playing it safe. And here's what I want you to write down. If you're a note taker, I want you to write this down. Safe is a very dangerous place to be. I'm going to say that one more time. It's a gentleman by Doug Stevenson that I study, and here's what he said. He said that safe is a very dangerous place to be. I'm going to say that one more time. Safe. Playing it safe right now in your life, playing it safe and not going after your goals and your dreams, playing it safe and holding on to that career path that you know does not bring you that level of contentment that you truly want, playing it safe and surrounding yourself with people who do not challenge you and do not help you to elevate your game, playing it safe and finding yourself in a place where you're completely safe is a very dangerous place to be. Why is that? The reason being is because of this, that oftentimes when you're safe, guess what's happening? You're not being challenged. When you're safe, guess what happens? You tend to be complacent. And here's what I know, that you will rarely accomplish anything significant in your life if you are, number one, complacent, and number two, if you are not being challenged. And so if you're looking for your life to expand, I believe that this next coming year, one of the key things that I'm going to be focusing on is that this upcoming year for me is going to be a year of an expansion. I've already experienced expansion going into the year as my family has now expanded. My wife and I, we're so grateful. We're so thankful. We just recently had our baby girl, baby Ava, has come into the world. And so we know that everything that we do in our lives is about to expand, that there's going to be significant expansion. And what I'm saying to you, if you want your life to expand, I'm talking about expanding financially. I'm talking about expanding relationship-wise. I'm talking about expanding when it comes to your goals. I'm talking about expanding when it comes to your level of contentment, that what it's going to require is that you leave what feels safe. It's going to require that you leave what feels comfortable to you. And I tell you one thing, that there's already a predisposition for most of us to stay where it's safe. We are programmed and we have been pretty much designed from the moment we were very small children to try to put ourselves in a place of comfort, to sort of incubate ourselves and put our places and stay in places that feel safe. And so it's not natural to step outside of your safety zone. It's not natural to step outside of your comfort zone. But here's what I have to tell you, that when we're talking about expansion, when we're talking about fulfillment, when we're talking about getting to the next level, it's going to require that you step outside of what feels safe. It's going to require that you step outside of what is called your comfort zone. Brian Tracy refers to your comfort zone as your danger zone. And so as I reflect back on my personal life and I think about my life before I became a full-time speaker, before I've had the opportunity to go to major corporations and deliver keynote messages, before I had the opportunity to work with high-level executives, speakers, authors, and coaches and help them to develop their strategic story, I think about when I was working in corporate America as a CPA. And I could tell you, when I was working for a wonderful company at that, a company by the name of PricewaterhouseCoopers, that when I was there, it felt very safe. And the reason why it felt safe is, number one, I was working in the very area that I had studied so hard. In other words, I was working in the same field in which I had got my undergraduate degree and I had got my master's degree. Number two, I was working with a well-established company. This is a company that had been around for decades, and this is a company that is literally one of the largest professional service firms in the world that employs literally thousands of individuals. And so I wasn't concerned on a daily basis as to whether or not the company was going to be there the next day. The other reason why I was safe is because I know that I could count on, as long as I was performing and as long, of course, I wasn't let go for some reason, I know that I could count on receiving a paycheck every single 2 weeks. I could count on a paycheck automatically going into my bank account. And so I had gotten very safe. It felt very safe. It felt very secure, and it felt very comfortable. But I could tell you this, that although it felt safe, although it felt comfortable, that one thing I could tell you, that when it came specifically to me realizing my goals and my dreams, when it came specifically to me expanding my life, when it came specifically to me walking into my calling in life, it required me to abandon what felt safe and to step into an area in my life that there was a great deal of discomfort, to step into an area in my life where I was completely outside of my comfort zone. And I'm telling you, once I made the decision to abandon what felt safe, once I made the decision to step outside of my comfort zone, that is when I was able to step into my calling. That is when I was able to develop this voice that you're hearing now. That is when I was able to realize and recognize what my calling is in life. And that is when I began to walk in my purpose. And what I need you to understand is this: as long as you continue to cling on and to hold on to what is safe, You will go through life simply being mediocre. You will go through life only thinking and wishing and hoping that you had reached your fullest potential. And you will rarely, ever, as a matter of fact, you will never realize your full potential in life if you go through life holding on to and clinging on to what is safe. As Doug Stevenson said, I'm going to repeat this one more time, safe is a very dangerous place to be. And so you don't want to hold on to what's safe. You see, you don't want to just continue to hold on to that safe job if you know deep in your heart that it's not really truly satisfying and it's not what you want to do in life. You see, you don't want to hold on to those safe relationships that you have if you know those relationships are not going to be able to expand and grow you and develop you into the person that you need to be. You see, you don't want to continue to just surround yourself and put yourself in the same type of environments that feel safe if you know those environments are not going to help you to expand your mindset, if you know those environments are not going to help you to expand your skill set, if you know that those environments are not going to help you to expand your vision, then what I'm saying is that you've got to abandon those very safe environments and be willing to step out. And so I'm telling you, when I made the decision to abandon what was safe back in 2004, it was very uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable not knowing where my paycheck was going to come from. It was uncomfortable abandoning the very thing that I had studied for all these years and got my undergraduate degree, my master's degree. And it felt very uncomfortable to leave the accounting field when that is what I had studied for throughout my 5 years, my 4 years to get my undergraduate degree and my 1 year of getting my master's degree in college. You see, all of that felt very uncomfortable. All of that felt very unsafe. Let me tell you something. It felt very uncomfortable and unsafe for me to sort of start planning out a course for my life where there's a great deal of uncertainty, not knowing what my next step was, not knowing exactly what my calling was going to be, not knowing exactly how I was going to get from A to Z. But in that space of discomfort, in that space of feeling unsafe, that is where the growth began to happen. That is where expansion began to be realized in my life. That is where increase began to show up. That is where impact began to develop. That is where I was able to have a different level of contentment and a different level of impact in the lives of others. And so I want to challenge you as you push forward. I want to challenge you as you think about your goals and your dreams going forward. I want to challenge you to abandon what feels safe. Listen, don't make your decisions clinging on to what's safe. Most of us, without even realizing it, inherently we're doing this without thinking about it. Most of our decisions are being anchored and most of our decisions are being filtered through a funnel in which we're hoping and we're looking to keep ourselves safe. It's this thing that we go through. We're doing this thing of self-preservation. We're trying to keep ourselves away from feeling discomfort, away from feeling pain, away from feeling rejection, away from feeling failure. But what I need you to realize is as you literally try to avoid those paths of discomfort, as you avoid those paths of rejection, as you avoid those paths of failure, as you avoid those paths of being unsafe, when you avoid those paths, what you are doing is oftentimes avoiding your destiny. What you're doing is you're avoiding your calling. What you're doing is you're avoiding your opportunity to increase. You're avoiding the opportunity to make a significant impact. And so I want you to think about, and I want you to look at your life right now. And I want you to identify an area in your life that you are hoping to expand, an area in your life in which you're looking for more fulfillment, an area in your life in which you're looking to make greater impact. And I want you to examine that area in your life. And I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to say, have I created a little safety zone for myself? Have I created a little safety zone when it comes to my career? Have I created a little safety zone when it comes to my relationships? Have I created a little safety zone when it comes to the places that I choose to go? Have I created a safety zone when it comes to the things that I choose to allow to come into my mind? And what I want to challenge you is, if this is an area that you truly want to expand in, I want to challenge you to leave what you have dictated and determined to be safe. I want to challenge you to leave those things that you have deemed as being comfortable. Somebody once said that your life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Somebody else once said also that your greater self is in direct opposition of your comfort zone. In other words, you cannot realize your greater self. You cannot realize your full potential unless you're willing to abandon what is safe, unless you're willing to abandon what feels comfortable. And so I think about, in my life, all the places in which I made a significant transition, all the places in which I had a significant breakthrough. Every single time that there is a significant breakthrough, every time that there is a significant transition, it required that I abandon what was safe. And so when I think about leaving corporate America and ultimately coming on this new path of becoming an entrepreneur and ultimately becoming a professional speaker and becoming a storytelling coach, everything about that journey, as I went through the process, felt very uncomfortable and felt very unsafe. But because of the fact that I was willing to take that path, every single thing in my life began to expand. Everything in my life began to shift. And what I'm saying to you is that this is the time for you to abandon what is safe. I'm not saying for you to be absolutely just irresponsible. I'm not saying for you to be absurd, but what I'm saying for you is for you to abandon what feels safe. Because when you cling on to what is safe, what happens is you often forfeit the reward. I think about, with some of my buddies from college, we used to go on an annual guys trip. And for years, we would go on a trip to Las Vegas. And I'll never forget, it was some years back, I don't know, this is probably at least 6 years ago, a group of my friends and I, we went to Las Vegas for our guys trip. And I remember it was the very last day of the trip and we were all leaving the hotel. And what we realized is once we all chipped in for some of the expenses for our hotel room, for our transportation and so forth. And so on the very last day when we were leaving, what we realized is we had a very small surplus. In other words, there's about 7 of us on the trip. And we realized we had about $49 left. And so that meant that everybody could get $7 back, right? And so one of the guys came up with an idea and he says, hey, listen, instead of us each getting our little $7 back, he said, hey, man, right before we all leave and head out to the airport, why don't we have fun? Let's go ahead and take this $49. Let's head down to the lobby of our hotel. Let's go into the casino and let's go ahead and bet this money. And we'll go ahead and go on the roulette table and go ahead and we'll gamble this money just to have a little bit of fun. It's only $7, right? And so I remember being there and I'm thinking I'm being all noble and I'm like, well, I don't really gamble, I'm just going to go ahead and take my $7. And so everyone's like, Andy, what? You just going to take your $7? I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take my $7. That's the safe thing to do. I'm not interested. No, I'm out. And then so they're like, well, all right, Andy's out, but we're going to go ahead and take this money and we're all going to go downstairs. So naturally, I go downstairs with them. They're all excited. They're all about to get ready to head out to the airport. And so they rush over to the roulette table and right away they go ahead and put the money down and they say, hey, we're going to put this money down on black. And they roll, and all of a sudden they put this money down. The guy rolls the little roulette table and sure enough, they win. And so now this $50 that they put down, this $50 now all of a sudden doubles and this $50 becomes $100. And so they walk over to another table and they put the money down and once again they hit. And it goes now from being literally from being $100 to now they're at about $200. Then they walk over to another table and once again they hit again. And then I'm watching these guys, they're going from table to table and they're winning. And a couple of times they lose. And then they're like, hey, you know what? Should we throw in the towels? The guys are like, no, man, it was only $7. Keep going. And sure enough, they literally in a period of about just 15 minutes before everybody head out to the airport, they kept winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And I couldn't believe it. All the guys who had just simply invested about $7 of their money, the guys who did not want to hold on to just being safe. See, I decided to just hold on and cling on to what was safe. And because I decided to cling on and hold on to what was safe, I walked out of there with my $7. But because they were willing to abandon what was safe, because they were willing to go ahead and take a risk, not a very difficult risk, not a very big risk. We're talking about $7 measly. But because they were willing to abandon what felt safe, every single one of them who invested $7 before headed out to the airport got back almost $100 return. So they invested $7 and got back $100 because of the fact that they were willing to do what was unsafe. Now, I use that little story about gambling, not to promote gambling, but just so I could get you to create a visual. Because what I need you to realize is this. I wanted to hold on what was safe. And when you hold on to what was safe, what you have in your hand does not expand. So I got my $7, but that $7 did not increase. That $7 did not expand. I got my little $7, and sure enough, when I got to the airport, I was able to buy something for that little $7. But I tell you one thing, those guys who are willing to abandon what was safe, let me tell you, they had a tremendous experience. They had a wonderful time, and they got to tell a phenomenal story as they were also collecting their somewhat $100 before they decided to go ahead and change out. Now, is $100 going to change their life? Probably not. But what I need you to understand is, the lesson is that they were willing to abandon what was safe. And because they were willing to abandon what was safe, what they had in their hand increased significantly. And so what I need you to realize, what you have in your hand, the gift, the skill, the talent, the relationships, the desires that you have in your hand, if you want those things to increase, if you want to take those things to the next level, it's going to require that you abandon what feels safe. So you've got to relinquish what feels safe if you want to go ahead and take your life to the next level. And so what doesn't feel safe sometimes, let me tell you, it doesn't feel very safe sometimes to take a new career path. It doesn't feel very safe sometimes to leave the job in which you've been very comfortable and you've known for quite some time. It doesn't feel very safe to have a dream or a vision that you can't even fathom, and you can't even envision for yourself exactly how you're going to make it happen. You see, it doesn't feel very safe to hang around people who are operating at a higher level than you, people who intimidate you, people who are going to push you and ask you to raise the bar. You see, when you think about those different areas in your life, it doesn't feel safe when you step outside and you decide that you're going to raise the bar and make some things happen. But here's what I need you to understand. If you're looking to expand, if you're looking to go to the next level, then you've got to release what is safe. You've got to open your hand and stop trying to cling on to the few dollars. Stop trying to cling on to this old job that you're unhappy with. Stop trying to cling on to these old relationships that you know are not challenging you. The old relationships where people are just sitting around gossiping and talking about the same old. And what I'm saying is, you've got to let go of what feels safe so that you can go ahead and inherit and step into your increase, so that you can step into your impact, so you can step into your destiny, so you can step into doing some things that's going to make a tremendous impact in your life. And so here's what I know. I can tell you this. I don't know where you are right now in your life, but what I want you to do is, I want you to examine your life for a moment. Socrates said that an unexamined life is not worth living. I want you to examine your life for a moment, and I want you to identify an area in your life that you want to take to the next level. And so whether that is your spirituality, whether that is your finances, whether that has to do with your health, whether that has to do with your relationships, whatever area in your life, I want you to think about an area in which you are looking to expand. And as you look at that area, I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to think about, what are the areas in which you are being very, very, let's see here, conservative. The areas in which you are playing it safe. The areas in which you are not doing anything that challenges you. The areas in which you're not doing anything that requires you to step outside of what feels comfortable. And what I'm saying to you is, if you want those areas to expand, then you have to make a conscious decision to release and relinquish those things that feel safe, so that you can step forward and begin to experience increase. So that means that maybe perhaps that you're going to have to start doing some things that have not necessarily felt comfortable before. So maybe perhaps for you, if it has to do with something spiritual, maybe the place that you go to worship, maybe it means instead of you just showing up now it means that you actually decide that you are going to serve and find ways that you can serve those around you and volunteer. If it comes to, maybe perhaps when it comes to your career, what it may mean is that this job that you've had for so long now that you could do with your eyes closed, what it may mean is maybe this is the time that you release what feels safe and that you start getting out there in the job market and start looking for a new career path. What it may mean is that maybe perhaps if you have been operating your business and like clockwork, you know that you can generate your 6 figures, then what it means is maybe perhaps you engage in new activities that you know is going to be able to help you to create an increase and take your business to the next level. What it means is that maybe perhaps if you have had some relationships and some people that you've been around that you know that you're comfortable around them because they don't challenge you, they don't require anything of you. What it means is that maybe you have to get uncomfortable, make some new friends, surround yourself with some different people that are going to require some different things of you, some people that are going to hold you accountable, and some people are going to challenge you to take your life to the next level. And the reason why I share that with you is because what I need you to do is I want you to abandon what feels safe. Why? Because safe is a very dangerous place to be.